In this video, I want to have a look at division of polynomials. So to divide a polynomial, we actually use long division. So before we jump into that, I just wanted to go through two examples looking at long division just with numbers first. So just to jog your memory, if we got asked to divide 405 by 15, I'm going to write 405 divided by 15. Now we look at, and 15 doesn't go into 4, so we look instead at that 40. So 15 goes into 40 twice, which would give us 15 times 2 is 30. So we'll write the 30 underneath, and then we're going to subtract. So we'd go 40 minus 30 would leave us with 10, and then we carry down the next digit. So instead of 10, we have 105. And now we look, and 15 goes into 105 7 times. So 7 times 15 is exactly 105. So when we subtract, we're left with 0. So that means that 15 is a factor of 405 because it goes in with no remainders. So we can write that out as 405 is equal to 15 times 27. In our second example, we're asked to divide 176 by 12. So we'll write it out, 176 divided by 12. 12 doesn't go into 1, so we look at 17. So 12 into 17 goes once, which would just give us 12. Then we can subtract, so 17 minus 12 will leave us with 5. Then we carry down our next digit, which is our 6. 12 into 56 will go 4 times. So 4 times 12 is 48. And 56 minus 48 will leave us with a remainder of 8. So the way we can write that is that 176 is equal to 12 times 14 plus 8. So that's our remainder there. So we can divide polynomials in a similar way using long division. And we can write our answer after we've done that division as p of x equals ax times qx plus rx. So our px is called our dividend, that's our original polynomial. Ax is called the divisor, so that's what we're dividing by. Qx is the quotient, so that's what we end up on the top of our division sign. And our rx is our remainder. One thing to keep in mind is that the degree of the remainder must always be less than the degree of the divisor, otherwise we could keep going. So let's have a look at some examples. So our first example asks us to divide x cubed plus 4x squared minus x minus 4 by x plus 1. So we're going to write that out, x plus 1. We've got x cubed plus 4x squared minus x minus 4. Alright, what we look at here is this first term. So we're going to look at that x and we're going to say, what do we have to multiply x by to get to this first term of x cubed? So we would have to multiply it by x squared. So now we're going to take this term, we're going to multiply it by each of the terms out here. So x squared times x would give us x cubed, and x squared times 1 would give us x squared. Now we can subtract. We're going x cubed minus x cubed gives us 0. 4x squared minus x squared would give us 3x squared. Now we also bring down that next term, our minus x. So now we start again. We say, what do we have to multiply x by to get to 3x squared? So we would have to multiply it by 3x. So 3x times x would give us that 3x squared. And 3x times 1 would give us 3x. So now we subtract, so this will give us 0. Now here we've got minus x minus 3x would give us minus 4x. And we bring down that next term of minus 4. All right, one last time. What do we have to multiply x by to get to minus 4x? Would be minus 4. Minus 4 times x would give us minus 4x. And minus 4 times 1 would give us minus 4. Now when we subtract that, we're going to get 0. So that means we have no remainder, which means that x plus 1 is a factor of x cubed plus 4x squared minus x minus 4. So to write that out, we can write that that original polynomial is equal to x plus 1, our divisor, multiplied by our quotient, which was our x squared plus 3x minus 4, and there is no remainder for this one. Okay, one last example. So we're dividing x cubed minus 3x squared plus x plus 6. We're dividing that by x squared minus x. So the same thing, we look at this first term here. What would we have to multiply x squared by to get x cubed? Would be x. So x times x squared would give us x cubed. X times minus x would give us minus x squared. Then we subtract, so this will give us 0. Minus 3x squared minus x squared. So this is a plusing x squared would give us minus 2x squared. So just be really careful that we're subtracting a negative there. Then we bring down our next term. Then what would we have to multiply x squared by to get to minus 2x squared? Would be minus 2. So it would give us minus 2x squared, and minus 2 times minus x would give us plus 2x. Then we subtract, so that gives us 0. X minus 2x would give us minus x, and we bring down our plus 6. Now we can't multiply x squared by anything to get to x because the degree of our remainder is less than the degree of our divisor. So that means we've finished, which means that this is our remainder. So to write that out, we'd write x cubed minus 3x squared plus x plus 6, that's our divisor, our dividend, equals our x squared minus x, outside of x minus 2. And then we've got our remainder that we can just write on the end, so minus x plus 6. So that's an introduction to the division of polynomials.